Hello everybody, welcome here to my WWE The Cell predictions. If you're wondering what attire Michaels is wearing, it's the attire from WrestleMania 14. So, yeah, I'm the referee. I do what I want. Alright, let's get into the predictions. I'm the referee, so I can do slow counts if I need to. Keep this match going on. Anyways, let's start out with the pre-show match. Big E Langston versus Curtis Axel. And, this sort of jumped me. I really didn't expect Big E to turn face with Punk and just, start dominating, Curtis Axel. And it just announced this last Monday, so, that took me by surprise, too. But, all in all, it was it just didn't make sense for some reason. I don't know. But thank God Big E's face, because he's awesome. And screw you. Alright. So now to the actual match. This is a pre-show, and a lot of people are wondering why this is a pre-show. This is a title match. They should have Los Matadores versus Real Americans pre-show. Blah blah blah. I think it's a great way of enticing people what's to come, because who knows? CM Punk could interfere. Paul Heyman could interfere. And that's exactly what Daniel Bryan does in real life. That's messed up. I'm a referee. Anyways. And if Big E wins this title, then I'll get people to think, oh my God, what if other people start changing titles? And I would just get them to buy, the pay-per-view, period. So, it's really, I think it's an all-in-all win. I'm going to say Curtis Axel wins by a distraction. There's no way he's going over clean. I'm going to say he wins by some sort of Paul Heyman, Ryback distraction, in which that leads into CM Punk coming over and start beating the crap out of Ryback. Give us sort of a little preview. And you fail. So yeah, I'm gonna say Axel wins by not I was gonna say disqualification, but not disqualification, just interference. That's what I meant. So now to the actual pay-per-view. AJ Lee versus Brie Bella. This has been going on for a while, where it's just AJ Lee versus the Total Divas. And it just doesn't make sense that Brie Bella keeps winning non-title matches, but whenever it comes to the real title, AJ Lee's that person. It seems like that's that same thing that they did with Dolph Ziggler when he was Money in the Bank. He would always lose to people randomly, but whenever his stuff was on the line, he'd win to show that determination and all that crap. And as they're both bleeding right now, I'm going to say AJ Lee walks out with the title this time, just to keep this feud going. I really have no idea where they're going to go with it. Hopefully sometime Tamina Snuka gets some sort of get some sort of involvement. I want to see Tamina Snuka, sometime in this feud, turn on AJ Lee and then just have them two fight for the title. So, yeah, I'm going to say AJ Lee because it doesn't really make sense for Brie Bella to win the title now, So, yeah, alright, so I predict that AJ Lee is going to win this Sunday. Alright, next match, Los Matadores versus versus the Real Americans. And this was sort of an ongoing thing. You knew it was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen once. Oh god, count. Yeah, you sort of knew it was going to happen when Real Americans called Los Matadores out. And it comes to the fact where it's like, at some point in time, Real Americans are going to win, breaking Los Matadores' streak. It depends on. I'm gonna restart the match just because I don't want you seeing that screen all day long. But it just depends on where they go with Los Matadores. They could have the Real Americans go for the tag titles because they're heel and Cody Rhodes and Goldust are face. So, but it just goes towards, where does Los Matadores go? They go after the Shield? Do they, just like job around like Tons of Funk and 3MB and all these other jobberish tag teams that had their big push, but now, they're doing nothing? I don't know. I'm gonna say Los Matadores walk out with this one to show that they can beat the Real Americans and that they can keep their winning streak. But in the future, I do think that the Real Americans are going to break Los Matadores' winning streak. So, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna say Los Matadores. Next match, Cody Rhodes and Goldust versus the Usos versus the Shield. In a triple threat tag team match for the tag titles. Sort of like a filler match, just to see, just to show that, what's their names? The Shield get their rematch clause, and Usos are still #1 contenders. Which I do think is the dumbest thing. They would show the Usos as #1 contenders, but never have them challenge for the titles. That just doesn't make any sense to me at all. I really don't understand. I really don't understand why they had the Usos win just to like never do anything, I'm gonna say Cody Rhodes and Goldust win just because, well, obviously, it's not like the Usos are gonna walk out with it. I do say there is a slight chance that Shield could like grab the tag titles again, just to make them sort of even with Cody Rhodes and Goldust. But I'm going to say Rhodes and Goldust win. By the way, have you heard their new tag team theme? It is so good. I love it so much. If you haven't heard it, go search it up online. It's gold and I think it's like gold and smoke or something, or smoke and gold or something similar to that. Or you could just search it. Or you could just search on like Cody Rhodes and Goldust tag team theme or something. Just as long as you find it, it's a good song. It's not that song that you would be jamming out to. It's a good wrestling song. Anyways, back to the Cell pay-per-view. Punk versus Heyman and Ryback in a handicap Cell match. I was sort of confused on how this was all set up. It was like if Punk won, it was just like if Punk won, then Heyman and Ryback got to pick the match. And then if Heyman and Ryback won, then Punk got to pick the match. It just didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense in my opinion. But I'm going to say Heyman and Ryback. I need to give a thorough explanation. I do say that this feud has been going on for a while. And I don't know, I just feel like, okay. this feud has been going on for a while. It's been going on since Money in the Bank. In fact, at the Monday Night Raw after Money in the Bank. So that was July. It's been going on since the middle of July to now. It's been going on for a pretty long while now, and why not stop it? I don't know where they could take Punk, but I do want to see Ryback versus Big E Lance, and I think that would be pretty freaking sweet. But so where do they take Punk? I don't know, but I do want to see this feud end either at this pay-per-view or at the Survivor Series pay-per-view. If it does not end by then, I'm going to be mad. So yeah, I'm going to say Heyman and Ryback win. Just to prove that they are better, best in the world, that stuff. So now to the match I'm most excited for. Alberto Del Rio versus John Cena. The returning John Cena. Why am I so excited for this? It's John Cena. Who wouldn't? Okay. That's not the real reason, but it's just the fact of and I'm gonna sort of escape out of this brain here. So, excuse me if you can't hear my voice well. Oh yeah. Back to what I was talking about. Cena's, promos and coming back and all that. It's been done so well. You would have thought anything. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But what I'm trying to say is Cena's return has been so hyped because he hasn't been here since forever. And a lot of people are mad that he isn't entering the WWE title picture. Frankly, I'm glad because this could set up for, and excuse me while I do this. But yeah, that could set up for Cena winning and then Sandow cashing in. How over would Sandow be if, But yeah, how over would Sandow be if he cashed in on John Cena and won? That sets up a feud for Damien Sandow and John Cena, which puts Damien Sandow over more than a lot of people, because beating John Cena clean is like beating John Cena clean. It's just that moment. So I'm gonna say Cena wins, just because of his hyped debut, and does Sandow cash in? Little risky on this, but I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say Sandow does cash in tonight. That is my prediction for oh wait, no, we still have one more match. I forgot. We have Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton. This is the match I'm playing right now. Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton. For the WWE title with Shawn Michaels as, why did I count that? We have Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee, Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton for the vacant WWE Championship, and a new word has been added into my vocabulary. Rematch. A new word has been added into my vocabulary because of this match. Abeyance. I've never heard of that word. Thank you, WWE. Sponsored by the WWE app. No. It's sort of been weird, just because this whole, kept in abeyance thing. I like I like that they kept it vacant, and as Daniel Bryan goes for his yes lock, yeah, and I need to change that in his moveset. I'll download an updated moveset later. I do think this will be the last match of their feud. You know, just because this has been going on for a while. Not as long as Punk and Heyman. That's just going on forever. But you know, it's sort of, you know, what do you do after this? Somebody has to win. And if they if they somehow keep it vacant for one more pay-per-view, I'm going to get mad. Because why? We don't need no freaking we don't need a title on the bands. We need a real, you know, thing. We need a real champion. I've honestly forgotten about this feud because there is no WWE champion. It's just that moment where it's like, you know, I want a new champion, you know. But the big question is, does Shawn Michaels get involved tonight? And I'm going to say yes. Shawn Michaels will get involved somehow. Somehow he will get involved. I'm going to say that. Did he hit his flying knee? Or was that a flying elbow? Anyways, sorry for the scattered, you know, introduction. I can't think straight. Especially because I'm playing. I can't think straight when I'm playing. Especially when I'm playing. And screw you, Daniel Bryan. I'm gonna say so. Sorry for less of a, you know, thing, you know, introduction or whatnot. Sorry for less of an introduction thing, but I'm going to say Randy Orton wins because Shawn Michaels' sweet chin music or super kicks or whatever. Sweet chin musics or super kicks or whatever to Daniel Bryan. Say Shawn Michaels goes heel and Randy Orton wins the WWE Championship. Also, one small note before I end off. This will probably be my last WWE13 video, or video period, till 2K14. So, you know, like I said, I'm excited. I wish I could share all my thoughts with you, but I don't have the time. I really don't. So, anyways, you know, that's sort of it for me. Let me know what you think about this pay-per-view. Do you disagree with any of my predictions? Do you think anybody is going to win differently than what I think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I will